getting into this episode of GH, Lucy just never learned her lesson. I'm gonna tell you, that woman stay attaching herself to some criminals. Stay flirting with somebody criminal. Um, and she was just giving him all the tea about the people in the town too. Like telling him about the Spencers and Bobbies, like giving him a little history lesson. I'm like, man, you are giving this stranger way too much intel. Way too much. I'm like, Lucy, hush your mouth. You're telling him too much. I mean, granted, he could Google some shit, but it's like, girl, shut up. Because as soon as she mentioned Spencer's, his face lit up. I'm like, Lucy, shh, hush, baby, hush. Um, then when she started like asking him questions about himself and if there's any past wives, she was just flirting with that man. Um, Talking about if there's anything else you need. I'm like, Lucy, girl, you just don't learn. You don't learn. That man gonna turn you every which way but loose. I'm trying to tell you. Sidwell is not to be messed with. Like, Lucy, you barking up the wrong tree with that one. Leave that man alone. You done sold him a home. Go about your business now. Leave that brother the hell alone. Okay? Um, I ain't gonna lie. I freaking love Alexis and Rick scenes. I adore their scenes together. The back and forth. It's the back and forth between them. It's always good. It's always funny. Alexis was not here for that man. She was like, listen, I love eating here. I love the food here, but you're making me lose my appetite. She said, you can go. I love it. Because why would Rick even try to talk to Alexis? Especially about Ava and this money. Like, why even talk to her? Because you already know Alexis not budging. For one, she can't stand Rick. Two, she can't stand Ava. So why would she help either one? For what? It's a waste of time trying to talk to her. It's a waste of your time. Especially with the way Rick been treating her lately since he came back. Please. And he really thinks she would lift a finger for him or a client of his? Not gonna happen. Especially with the way Ava came after her and tried to get her to lose her license again. No. Like, she's the reason she, like, come on. You dropped dime on her. Like, you the reason she lost the damn license. And you think she gonna help your ass? Absolutely not. They was barking up the wrong tree with that one. Ava was looking fierce. Let me tell you something. That black outfit she had on her here, Ava was looking good as hell. She was looking scrumptious. I said, look at her. Like, just looking all types of good. And don't get me wrong, Ava looked good every time, but she was really like, that was clean right there. I'm glad to hear Ava's not broke. Like, I'm happy to hear that. Like, she not destitute, which is good. Because I was wondering, I was like, are they really trying to say she broke? But I'm glad she not. But basically her money is a little funny because she bought another building trying to expand her gallery. And she's basically paying two mortgages on two buildings. Like, that is a lot. You're paying two mortgages. You're basically paying insurance on both of those bad boys. You're paying taxes on both of those bad boys, plus your own personal living expenses. It can add up. It can definitely add up. So I see why she going crazy over that money. I can understand that. But I'm like, well, shit. If you have to, sell the building or take out a loan. Take out a business loan. That's all you gotta do. Like, Ava makes money, so, and she even said it herself that the gallery is still making money. The gallery is doing quite well. So I'm like, take out a loan, expand the business, and pay the loan off. Problem solved. Like, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be boo-hooing about that damn Cassadine money. She had money before that money, so I wouldn't even worry about that. I would just keep on trucking along if I was her. I really want to know what is up with the Cassadines taking back this money, because most of the Cassadines are freaking dead. So who in Greece is pulling the strings on this one? Because they initially said that it wasn't Nicholas's money to give away. So we know Nicholas did not take the money back. So they said it was Greece. Valentine is on the run. He's nowhere. He's not even in Greece. So he definitely wouldn't stake a claim. So who's doing this? Like, what Cassadine is doing it? Victor is supposedly dead. Who else is there? That's what I'm curious about. Like, who's pulling the strings on this? That's what my biggest concern is. Like, who the hell, what Cassadine is left to even make a move like this? But yeah, if I was able, I would let that go. I wouldn't even stress about that money. So anyway, moving on from that. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna lie. Everything Drew said to Carly was true about all the stuff she did back in the day to make sure that Sonny was Michael's father. It was true. My issue with what he was saying was right message, wrong messenger. That's my issue with that. Because Drew wasn't around for none of that. Like, all that stuff happened before anybody even knew who the hell he was. You know what I'm saying? So he, in my opinion, had no authority and no right to even speak on it. Like, as if he lived it, as if he was there. Even if he, was speaking the gospel, it wasn't for him to speak. You know what I'm saying? I would prefer somebody on the Quartermain side who's been around to actually speak on it. It would be different if Ned said some shit like that, or Tracy. That'd be different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here for that. But, because I remember even Tracy got in Carly's ass a few years back about that. I remember it was when Michael went to prison and Tracy had gotten her face because Carly was all up in Lulu face. So Tracy got up in hers and let her know about herself. See, that I'm here for, but somebody like Drew running their mouth? Nah. Absolutely not. Nope. Mm-mm. Drew has no right to even speak on that situation. He wasn't a part of that situation. He didn't even know AJ. He had no relationship with him. AJ didn't know nothing about him. He didn't know nothing about AJ. So he ain't got no authority to speak. But I will say this. When Drew pretty much told Carly what him and Willow have is real compared to what him and Carly had, I love Carly's response to that shit. When Carly was like, I'm glad you dumped me. Like, you thought what you said hurt me. I love that because it shows Drew how insignificant he was to Carly. Because he really was insignificant to her. Because let's be fucking for real. That's the reason he dumped her in the first place. As soon as Jason came back to town, he knew what time it was. Drew already knew he couldn't compete. You can't compete where you don't compare. You know what I'm saying? So he already knew. All Drew was pretty much some date. That's all you were for her. You was just something to pass the time by until Jason came home. That's all it was. And I'm glad she fired back at him. He's sitting there talking about, I'm much happier away from you. Well, then get the fuck away from her then. Why are you in her face? If you so much happier away from her, then skedaddle, scoot. Go be with your little, your victim. Because that's what Willow is. Willow ain't nothing but his victim. Every time I see him and Willow in scenes together, it just looks very... I was about to say something. Every time I see them together, it looks very, like, kidnappy. How do I put it? It looks very predatory. Like, he's like a predator. The way he smiles at her and smirks at her, it's not cute. It's not romantic. It's very cringy. It makes it look like, she's being held captive. That's how it look. So, Nina was pissing me off. Because the way she went and told Jocelyn, oh, leave my daughter alone. Jocelyn is like 10 years younger than Willow. Like 10, 11 years younger than Willow. Probably like 12 years younger. Nina was talking as if Jocelyn and Willow were the same age. Like, leave my daughter alone. I'm like, Nina, if you'll go sit down somewhere, like, she really treat Willow like she's a child or something. Like, that's a grown-ass woman. Like, leave her alone. And this is the problem with Willow. Willow can't fight her own battles. That's the biggest problem. Can't fight her own battles. The first thing she did was thank Nina for defending her, and then when she found out about the whole custody situation, the whole court document, the court order that Diane served, she basically begged Drew for help. I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Willow can't stand on her own too. She can't. And this just backs up what I said before. You left one coat for another. You got a new coat leader. And that's one of the problems with Willow. She allows Drew and Nina to speak for her. She allows them to make all the decisions for her. How are you going to raise your kids if you can't stand on your own 2 feet and make your own decisions? You're allowing others to do that for you. So how are you going to guide 2 little human beings and shape their life? How are you going to do that? If you can't do it for yourself, how are you going to do it for them? What values are you going to teach them? Oh, don't worry, Wiley and Amelia, don't worry. Nina and Drew will speak for you. They'll speak for you. They speak for me. Like, what are you doing? Stand the fuck up on your own too. That's why it was so laughable when she went up to Sonny and Carly and basically said, no, I'm still Michael's wife. I'm going to make decisions for him. And the doctor should be talking to me. Like, she really thought she was badass. Like, the only reason why you walked in there so bad, it was because you had Nina on one side and Drew on the other, coaching you. That's the only reason why she felt she was so tough. Because let's be freaking for real. If the writers really wrote Sonny true to form, Drew would have been taken care of. And Willow now would have been taken care of. You think a mob boss is going to sit there and allow Drew, Nina, and Willow to sit there and run roughshod and think they call the shots? The mere fact that Nina even stepped to them the way, not Nina, but Willow, the way that Willow stepped to them in that hospital, Sonny would have had her disappeared like that. Because a real mobster wouldn't tolerate that. They would have took your ass out. And a real mob boss strikes so much fear that a person like Nina and Willow and Drew, people like them, they wouldn't even have the balls to step to him the way they do. They wouldn't even think twice of crossing him. That's why I really wish the writers would kind of write that true to form. That's why I feel like, you know what, maybe it is time Sonny and Jason get out the business. Because if you got people stepping to y'all like that, that's not good. That is not good. Because the name Corinthos should spread fear. Especially for all the years that Sonny been on top. And all the people he done took out. Or Jason have taken out. His reputation alone should scare the hell out of people. Just the name. Like, come on now. Like, Willow really thought she was badass. Like, please. And for her to even go along with what Drew was suggesting, oh, you should use that medical proxy as a bargaining chip. I'm like, girl, you don't even know what you stepped into. Like, she really think Carly and Sonny are gonna stand for that? It's not gonna happen. That's why I found it funny too when Sonny was telling Carly to, not pay attention to Drew because he ain't no authority about nothing. He ain't got nothing. He's nobody to judge, which I agree. But I do agree with Sonny. There's no point to go and dwell on the past because at the end of the day, what's done is done. Carly made her decisions. Sonny made his decisions. They've all made their choices. That led them to this day. But it is true. I mean, they made choices that harm their kids. But they still sit there and act like they did right by their kids. Not really. A lot of their decisions were selfish. Very selfish. And the funny thing is, too, watching Sasha's reaction to all of this when she found out about Michael, she was more emotional and upset about Michael than Willow was. Willow didn't shed a fucking tear. Sasha over there boo-hooing, crying her eyes out. You would have thought Sasha was his wife. The way she was reacting to it. I was like, damn. But at least she had some appreciation for, everything Michael has done for her. And she felt like Michael shouldn't have been in that situation, which he shouldn't have. He didn't deserve it. Michael, he has his ways about him. Like he could be a little asshole, but I wouldn't wish no burn on nobody. Burning alive. Cause that shit right there, I could see why Portia said he went into shock. I could see why. But hopefully she tell Jason about the baby and Michael being the father. I hope so. I hope she does go public with that. Ain't no sense in hiding it. Might as well stake a claim because that child do deserve some $250,000 funds. I'm just saying. Because honestly, I don't want them to try to test the waters between Jason and Sasha. I would hate that. I would really hate that because you know how these writers can be sometimes. They will try to Kim test them and hell no. No, no, no. Nope. I would rather, Jason just be somebody she could lean on. You know what I'm saying? Like he could become another part of the family for her. That's it. Nothing more. What was I about to say? Oh, back to Sidwell real quick. I was just wondering something. How is Sidwell out in public? Did he kidnap Sasha in Port Charles? Shouldn't he be having charges over him? And he out in public? Where the PCPD at? Lock him up. He out in public. Just sit here at a diner just eating. Like, sir, shouldn't you be charged with kidnapping? Like, I'm just saying. But anyway, Sonny better listen to Isaiah though when it come down to his health. Like I know he worried about Michael and he up on the roof praying and hoping that Morgan look over Michael or whatever. They really talking like Michael is dead, but okay. He do need to focus on his health though, cause like, dude, you could have a heart attack at any given moment, sir. Calm down and make sure your stress levels is good. Alexis's conversation with Diane kind of annoyed me when they were talking about Michael because she was like, oh, Michael has always been good to my girls, and if something were to happen to him, it would devastate Christina. Baby. Christina ain't the only sibling Michael has. Michael has other siblings and he has children. It would devastate everybody in his family. His grandmama, his uncles, cousins, well, minus Drew. It wouldn't devastate Drew. Because one minute Drew sitting there talking about, oh, I love Michael, that's my nephew. Then the next fucking minute, you basically trying to get Willow to use his medical proxy as leverage. Like, get the fuck on. But it would devastate everybody in his family that cared about him. You know what I'm saying? This ain't just about Christina. Like, Alexis need to go on with that. And Martin do need to respond. It's so funny how Martin wants to sit there when Diane confronted him about responding to the divorce petition. Oh, in light of everything that happened the night before, he basically trying to take his time. I'm like, sir, you were just over at Nina's sitting there, trying to plot your next move. But now all of a sudden, due to what happened, you're not ready to respond to the divorce yet, to the petition. Tell that to another sucker. Like, you can go on somewhere. And my whole thing is this. When Michael filed for divorce, he should have changed his medical proxy. Like, who's in charge of his medical care? I'm surprised that wasn't brought up, or him and Diane never spoke about that, or Diane never brought that up to him. That's why I really hope, as far as his assets go, I really freaking hope that he made sure somebody else was in charge of that. And Willow has nothing to do with it. I really hope. That damn Cyrus, this funky bastard, sitting over there eavesdropping on Alexis's conversation, listening about Michael being in the hospital. Now he's sitting there ranting and fucking raving to Martin about the fact that he's been restricted at the hospital. I'm glad Portia restricted his ass. But what pisses me off is, how does this dude keep slipping and sliding in and out of people's room with this damn digitalis? Like, how? Now he up in there trying to putting it in Michael IV. I said, this bastard. But they did say Michael was on some heavy morphine though, so maybe that can save him. Maybe. And it would be funny though. I would hope that somebody like Sasha or somebody's still in the hospital and they catch little bastard Cyrus in the act, because I'm tired of him trying to off people at the hospital. But at least then, if they see that digitalis is in Michael's system that they will clear Elizabeth because now they know there's no way she could have did it. She's suspended. She's not even at the hospital. So they know it's not her. And where are the damn cameras? You mean to tell me that whole hospital don't got cameras? Like, you could just slip and slide up in people's room without no cameras? Like, no. What are they doing? All the money people done donated to that hospital over years, y'all couldn't get camera. You couldn't at least get ADT. They leave the lights on and all that. You could get ADT. ADT is cheap nowadays. It ain't all expensive like it used to be when it first came out. It's a little cheaper now. I'm just saying. Shit, I still see ADT signs in people's yard, even to this day, and we in 2025. I enjoyed that conversation between Felicia and Maxie. I really did. I loved that conversation between them because I'm glad, Felicia told Maxie how much she loved her and stuff like that, because you never know when your time is up. So you do have to say those things while you're here. You know what I'm saying? So that way your loved ones know. She definitely telling the truth about that one. But I'm glad, Brennan also is giving Jocelyn some breadcrumbs. Letting her know subliminally about, trying to lead her in Cyrus's direction without having to tell her. And I'm glad that Jocelyn spoke with Felicia and stuff like that. And Felicia finally remembered that once the bell stopped ringing, that's around the time Dex got stabbed and Cyrus was there. Like, I don't trust Jack Brennan fully, but I definitely believe he was on the up and up when he steered Jocelyn in that direction. I believe he genuinely is trying to help her. I will hope so. His little assistant Colette, she need to go mind her business, because Colette need to go sit down somewhere. I get tired of her lecturing him about what he could use WSB information for and all that. Like, you're not his boss. It's the other way around. Don't be lecturing that man about what he can and can't do. She need to go get her life. Like, don't be over here lecturing that fella. He in charge of you, not the other way around. That was pretty much the whole episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought. And I will see you all later. Hope you all have a great weekend. Peace.